Hi, if we don't already know each other, my name is Dr. Jody Dinnerman. I'm the founder and creator of All Things Staffless Practice, and we help wellness practitioners cut their admin time in half while doubling their patient visits or their practice visits, their scheduled visits, without wasting time on things that don't work. And I think that my favorite rule of thumb when it comes to running a practice without staff, I know for sure actually, is knowing when to implement a system versus a person. What we see all too often is people knock on our virtual door and say, hey, I need to hire another person to do this. I need to hire another person to do that. I need to get my staff to finally do this thing. And usually what's really needed is a system as opposed to a person. The person stuff comes in when real connection is needed with a practice member. The automation or system stuff comes into play when we're talking about reaching the people to get all of the things to them so that they can get the best experience of your practice. The admin pieces, the more we can take the human piece out of the admin pieces and set up automation, but that implements real connection with people, you're good to go. And then you leave these talented, amazing people who work for you. If you have a team, you leave them to do the things that they're best at, right? So that everybody in the team is in their lane of genius. So that's what we want for you. So for today, what I'm going to share with you is my favorite two automations. And we're going to talk about automations in relation to reactivations, or what we call recalls. So once a month or so, it's actually not or so, it's once a month, I will start my recalls for the month, the reactivations. And basically what we do is we will start with printing a unscheduled patient report in Jane. I am a huge fan of Jane, if you don't already know. And one of the coolest things that they offer is you can print or upload a report of the people who don't have a scheduled appointment. So it's always important that you scan this report, because if you saw Sally in the supermarket yesterday, you're not going to want to text her and say, hey, Sally, it's been so long since I've seen you, because you just saw her yesterday in the supermarket. So you want to keep a level of authenticity about all of this and scan the report first. And if you don't use Jane, I'm sorry, first of all. And second of all, your EHR program should be able to provide a report to you of people who are not currently on your schedule. And it might be called something different, right? In Jane, it's called the unscheduled member report or something like that. So I'll download that, I'll scan it. I don't do any of this. My VAs do all of it. They download it, they scan, I scan it. That's the part that I have to do. And then they'll upload that list of people who I left on the list into the practice suite. And I'll go over that in a minute. And basically what we'll do is we'll send all of those people a text, and the text will give them the option to respond with a 1, a 2, or a 3. Okay. And I'll go over that in a minute too. And then if they respond with a 1, something happens. If they respond with a 2, something different happens. And if they respond with a 3, something different happens. So in general, in my practice, the text is going to sound something like this. Hey, it's Dr. Jody. It's been a minute. I sure do miss seeing you. Text back a 1 to get on the schedule this week, a 2 to continue your break from care, or a 3 to be removed from this list. So they're sending me a 1, a 2, or a 3. Usually what happens is I'll get a flood of 1s in. Now, if I've really got my shediggles together, when they're coming to my office, I'm giving them care plan recommendations based on what's going on with them. And I'm getting them set for their schedule. Sometimes I don't have the bandwidth to do that though, because I run a busy practice and I do not have staff in my office with me. So this is the way that I can have my own back, for lack of a better word or term, so that I'm not missing the boat on connecting with my practice members who have fallen off. Lord knows I fall off of my chiropractor schedule all the time, my dentist schedule. getting my hair done, like all of it. Life takes over, right? It's not anything personal. But if my dentist has me book an appointment while I'm standing there at the front desk, which they usually do, then I don't make it to this recall list. So I just dropped a whole lot of ideas your way. I want to give you two more pieces. One piece is something called a voicemail drop. A voicemail drop, it's a voice message that will pop up on your phone. It looks like someone just called you and you think to yourself, I didn't hear my phone ring, but there's a voice message on my phone. And oh my goodness, it's from Dr. Jody. And the voice message here will say, hey, it's Dr. Jody. It's been a minute. I just sent over a text. Please respond to it. I hope everything's okay. Sending you a ton of love. Click, right? That's the voicemail drop that will go with my recalls. And then I'll also send an email, and the email might be, hey, Sally, I just sent you a text, just making sure everything's okay in your world. I sure do miss seeing you. Talk soon. Please respond to the text. So all roads are pointing her to the Rome of sending me a text. That's the voicemail. That's the recall system. It's having everywhere that they look, pointing to them sending you a response to the text that you just sent out. I'm going to show you what this looks like. I'm also going to say this. We're starting a boot camp for reactivations in October. It starts on, I'm looking at my calendar, you guys, hold on, because I do use paper. It starts on October 7th. We're going to go through week 1, week 2, week 3, all of the things that you want to nail down to really get the recall program set for your practice. Set it and forget it. So if you're interested in that boot camp, you will need a practice suite. The practice suite is all of $10 to get started. Just drop the word boot camp in the post where you're watching us. Now I'm going to show you how all of this comes together. It's very cool. I just want to make sure that I'm showing you the right screen. So give me a minute. If you don't already know, if you're watching me for the first time and you're new around here, I go live every Monday, usually at noon, and I share with you something about running a practice with efficiency and joy front and center, without needing staff or with staff who only show up at the office to do what they're really good at doing. For some reason, my computer is taking a while to load. It's probably because I'm already live. There we go. Okay, hold on. And I'm going to show you, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. So this is how this comes together. You're looking at a practice suite. The practice suite has a conversations window where you do Instagram, TikTok, Facebook messages, all messenger, right? Email, phone calls, text messages, all of it in one window. So if this 908 person, Miss Chandler, sent me a voicemail, it would show up here. If she sent me a text, it would show up here. If she sent me a Facebook message, it would all show up here. We've got calendars, contacts, automations, websites, all of it is in here. This is a practice suite. So what I want to show you is if I go into automation, I can create what's called a workflow for what I'm talking about. And let's just go to the recall workflow. Here we go. I'm so happy I have one. So I might say something like, okay, practice suite. The trigger is going to be that I tag somebody recalls. That's their contact tag in my practice suite, right? And then I send them an email, I send them a text, and I wait 2 days. Then I send them another email. I would probably put a voicemail drop right in here. And the voicemail drop again would sound like, hey, it's Dr. Jody. I just sent you an email and a text. Texting is the best way to get back to me. Why don't you go ahead and shoot me off a text? Now, what I want you guys to understand that all of this happens automatically. Even the wait happens automatically. And it goes on just by you tagging your contact recalls. This is how we use a practice suite to do something like a recall program. And again, this is what the practice suite looks like. And we've got a blue version and a green version. And then we've got like a done for you, a done with you program too. So here's what I want you to walk away from hearing what I'm saying with. I want you to know that there are ways that you can cut admin time up to 50% without having to add more people to the puzzle, with protecting and honoring the time and the energy of not only you, but your practice members too. Can you imagine how easy it would be for Sally to just text back the number 1, and then you say, okay, Sally, here's a link to my schedule. Again, if you're a Jane app user, you can very easily text Sally back the link to your Jane scheduling for that appointment type. There are so many cool things that you can do to protect your time, to protect your energy. If you're interested in getting involved with our Reactivations Bootcamp, go ahead and send me a message now. I'm also going to say this. Your practice members will tell you if you're bothering them. A lot of the pushback that we get is, I don't want to bother my practice members. If they've fallen away from care, they don't want to be here anymore. You guys, I'm telling you, as a lifelong practice member, people's lives take over and you're just the chiropractor or just the ND or just the PT. You're one of the other 322 things that they have to do on their list today. So they don't have time for a phone call. They don't have time to do all of the things. They have time to text you back a 1. And that's why this works so beautifully. The other thing that we're going to do in the reactivation bootcamp or the recall bootcamp that we're having in October is we're going to give you kind of like a Trello board. Let me actually show this to you guys. Okay, so we use these boards called step boards. This is all within the practice suite. And for recalls, like if I take Sorrel, these are all fake people, by the way. If I move Sorrel from added to recalls list to text 1 sent, and then let's say Sorrel sent me back a 1, or she sent me back a 2, or she sent me back a 3, I can then tell my practice suite what to do when Sorrel lands in group 1 or when Sorrel lands in group 2. Chances are, if she's got a 1, she's going to get an automated text response that says, okay, awesome, let's get you scheduled for this week. Here's our scheduling link. Or if you don't use scheduling links for whatever reason, you could have an auto response that goes to her if she texts back a 1 that says, oh, great, we can't wait to see you. Go ahead and let me know a few times that could work for you. Here are our hours. Or she could get another voicemail drop, or she could have an email with your scheduling link sent over to her immediately, however you want to set it up. The other thing that Sorrel could do is she could say, hey, you know, I want to continue a break from care. Then you could have your practice suite create a task for you in 3 weeks to check in with Sorrel, however you want to do it. The trickiest thing about setting up your systems, you guys, is knowing the answer is always yes, right? You can always do the thing. The hardest thing is knowing what the thing is. So if your end goal is to connect with Sorrel because she's fallen away from care, you can come at it this way, you can come at it this way, you can come at it this way. It's just a matter of figuring out what works best for the people who you serve. The people who I serve in my chiropractic practice are moms. They've got their hands full. They don't have time for a phone call. Most of their stuff that they do happens while they're driving. They'll talk to Siri and Alexa to do most of their admin scheduling. So I need to make sure that I'm making it really easy for them to fill in the blanks to get the care that they need. Because I am sure, I'm positive that if they get on my table this week, their week's going to be that much better. So let's make it easy for them to do that. Okay. If you have any questions about what I just said, if you want to be part of our recalls bootcamp that's starting in October, just drop me a message below. I'm loving you guys from here. Go make the world better with great care, and we'll see you next week.